Okay, looks like a busy workbench for Scott. What I wanted to do here is kind of, number one, we're going to move into some confirmation sew-offs for Kathy's machine, and I want to congratulate Kathy as well. The gift of this 301 serves as a celebration that she is retiring. She lives out in Arizona, finally getting ready to wrap up her career, and she wanted to treat herself to something she always wanted, and that was this beautiful 1956 Singer 301A. And I've referred to it before as the big sister of the featherweight, which is why there's a featherweight sitting on my workbench as well. And this featherweight is really cool, probably the favorite machine in my collection because my family gave it to me when we passed 3,000 subscribers. It was a special gift that kind of coincided with Christmas, and so it's a very special machine to me, not for sale, so don't even ask. So what I'd like to accomplish real quick with these machines on the workbench, and I did it previously in another video a number of years ago, but I wanted to revisit it again because it comes up as a question oftentimes from subscribers and visitors to the channel. What's the difference between these two machines? They have a number of similarities and they have a number of commonality between the two of them. I mean, for goodness sakes, they use the same bobbin. The featherweight and the Singer 301 have exactly the same bobbin running in that raceway. So there are a lot of commonality features on the machines, along with the tilt extension bed as well. So, but a couple of things to highlight real quick, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this. I should spin my screen around so I can actually see what I'm doing. So some of the common ground behind them we've already touched on, but some of the differences as well to highlight are the machine dimensions. And I've touched on this before. Say for example this Singer featherweight 221. When you're talking about the harp space excluding this extension bed, we're talking about a distance of only about, let's see, about 9¼ inches. So 9¼ inches from here to here, as opposed to the 301A that's going to go out to Kathy, that from that end, not including the extension bed, is just shy of 14 inches from here to here. So they obviously added about 5 inches of workspace to the 301A because a number of the ladies that had this coveted 221 said, it's too tight. I can't maneuver all my materials. So they added that extension within that harp space. The height is going to be pretty close, and the extension beds are going to be different as well, obviously. The featherweight has an extension bed that's going to give you, well, about just right around 5¾ inches. And this is a shorter version of the 301A with its tilt bed. You can see that. This tilt bed is only going to have about a 3-inch tilt extension bed. But when you're talking about the overall length between the machines, because that's really what we want to know, isn't it? When you're talking about the entire length of the machine, that featherweight's going to be able to boast of just shy of 15 inches. The 301A is going to be able to boast of 16½ inches. And again, you might look at these two machines and say 301A is going to obviously weigh more than the featherweight, and you'd be correct. But guess what? Only about as much as a gallon of milk. Little bit, right between 8 to 10 pounds depending on how you measure the two. So not a huge difference. They talk about the featherweight. This is only slightly heavier than the featherweight. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and pull this featherweight out of the picture, try to get the other machine set up so that I can begin the process of showing what this 301A can do. The other thing I wanted to do real quick, and I'll try to accomplish it, and isn't that convenient that when I wanted to reposition this, I could grab it by that magical handle on top that just as easily, poof, can disappear. No, I'm not a magician, so don't try to book me for your birthday parties or anything like that. It's not going to happen. That's about the extent of my magic ability. So, magical ability. Obviously, talking is not my ability today. Okay, I've gotten a number of you that have written me about, and maybe I should zoom in at this point so I can show it closer up. Let's get down near that needle. That's where we're going to be working anyway. There we go. That's about where I want to be. Right about there. Okay. Flip my screen this time so I'm actually ready. Okay, I've had a number of you write me about this part on your 301. This is obviously where you're going to connect your power cord. And you've said to me before, doggone it, when I got this machine a couple of years ago, that power cord plugged in and was nice and snug, and now it's loosey-goosey. And I went to my local technician, my repair guy, and they said, you got to replace this piece, and it's going to be right around $100 after, you know, parts and labor and all that. I say, bull cookies. You don't need to replace it. What you need is a small screwdriver, and these connectors have little spacers in between the contact point where that electricity flows into it. All you need to do is insert that little screwdriver. Let me get it in there. Insert that little screwdriver just as I've done here. Hopefully you can see that. And gently wiggle it from side to side to expand that connection point. Do it to each one of these connection points. And when you slide your cord back on, you're going to go, just like I did with the handle, you're going to go poof, magic. Your connector, your power cord will no longer be loose. And it won't cost you $100 to do it. I described this in a text to one person that contacted me out of Massachusetts. She came back a few seconds later and goes, oh my gosh, it works. My power cord is just like when I got it. Can I send you something for this? I said, no, not at all. You know, we help each other, don't we? So do that if you run into that problem with yours, okay? I'm going to set this off to the side. Actually, I'll put it back in the drawer that it belongs. Set my magic little screwdriver off to the side. And we're going to put this 301A to work because Kathy is excited to get it again. It's a retirement gift that she's giving herself, and I would love her. You know, I would just love to show what this big sister to the featherweight can do. And by the way, I would like to, if you just saw that recent video I did on Lisa Dawn's 201-2, I reminded all of you that almost 6 years ago I coined the phrase for the 201. Okay, you're already saying it, so I don't even probably need to say it, but I'll say it anyway. The Rolls Royce of singers, right? Well, I'm going to coin a phrase for my little 221 that just left the scene after we had the introduction to this video, and I'm going to coin a phrase for that 221. I'm going to call it the Princess of Singers. The Princess of Singers. So you heard it here first, before it goes viral all over the world and people start calling their 221 featherweights their Princess of Singers. You heard it here. All right? All right. Okay. And I should give you a couple of pointers on this 301 as well, because it's a little tricky. Number one, you want to make sure that the flat side is to the left. You want to make sure, and here's the good news about the 301A. I mentioned in the video for the 201 that's going out to Lisa Dawn Be careful with that flat side, because in that needle shaft it can rotate on you, and then all of a sudden you'll have issues with stitch quality, because that flat side, unbeknownst to you, you may have slid it in right, but as you tighten it, it can rotate. Can't happen with this machine. They boast in the manual, guess what? We've designed this so that when you insert it, it cannot be inserted incorrectly. When that flat side goes to the left, it's going to stay to the left. And for the most part, that's true. So that's a great improvement on this machine over the 201-2. You also want to be careful when threading this machine. You're not going to, as you thread it down, because you're going to get all the way down to this thread guide right here that's evident, and you're going to think to yourself, oh, I should thread this from left to right. You'll be absolutely wrong. You want to notice that right below this thread guide right here that's evident, there's another thread guide just below it where you need to bring that thread through as well. You're going to bring that thread from the left towards the middle, and then you're going to thread this needle from right to left, right to left. The other thing that's a little bit tricky with this, and I've mentioned this in other videos, is when you drop that, when you put that bobbin in, it's going to go underneath this lift bed right here. You want to make sure that that thread is coming over the top of the bobbin, over the top, not under, over the top, and to the left when you put it into that bobbin carrier, okay? So a couple little tips that'll save you a lot of frustration, trust me. Okay, the first thing that I'd like to stitch off is going to be heavy grade denim. I don't know exactly what kind of sewing Kathy's going to do, but I know that most people, as I've said in other videos, at one point or another are going to be sewing denim. It just happens. You have to do a repair, you have to do some sort of clothing adjustment or something, and guess what? It's probably going to have denim in it, if not denim. So what we're going to do first of all is sew denim. I could zip down 2 layers real quick, but we're going to make it a little bit harder for this 301. I folded it once, we're up to 4 layers. I'm going to fold it one more time, and we're up to 6 layers. And you're saying, whoa, 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 hold on here. Isn't this the big sister to the Princess of Singers? Yeah, it is, but guess what? This 301 not only has a direct drive feature where the power goes right from the motor, which is vertically mounted, not horizontally like most motors, and it's the same size motor, a 0.6 amp. Technically it's 0.54, but it certainly maxes at 0.6 easily. And it's got the same size motor as the machine that will be arriving out in Minneapolis, Minnesota today for Lisa Dawn, the 201-2. Yep, the 301A and the 201-2 have the same size motor, 0.6 amps. So let's see what it can do with 6 layers of heavy grade denim. Hopefully I haven't bitten off more than I can chew. I doubt it. All right, here we go. 6 layers of heavy grade denim. Wow, that was tough. Couldn't you just hear that motor struggling, groaning, moaning, crying out for help? No, that would be the store-bought Singer that you might get at your local retailer. Not this 301A, not for a second. So check out, okay, we went through it like a breeze, right? Everyone agrees? I mean, it was like, whoa, really? Seriously? Oh, I forgot to turn the light on. Boom, there we go. Another magic trick. Yeah, the light turn on is right underneath this edge. You can't quite see it in the camera shot. Look at those stitches. They're absolutely perfect in every respect. I'll turn it like this as well for you. You want to know why this is called the big sister to the featherweight? Because like the featherweight boasts, or I should say featherweight owners boast oftentimes about their perfect stitch, you know what? They're not getting anything over the 301A. It's perfect in every respect. When we turn it over, the lock-in stitch, which guess what? I decided to do it in white thread today. So you can actually see it a little bit better, at least on the darker fabrics. That is an absolutely perfect lock stitch in every respect. It's absolutely drop dead gorgeous. Okay, enough talking, Scott. Move on, buddy, move on. All right, what we're gonna do now with this 301A is we're gonna sew off in this army grade canvas. How do you know it's the genuine article? There's those grommets, just like I showed you on the other video that I